Hi everybody, and welcome back to another React. Gemma and I today are going to be talking about an agency's choice of advert and their responsibility to the message that are given within that advert, and how this differs depending on the country that you're in, as we all fully know that this would not be allowed in the UK. Before we dive in, please can you like, subscribe and ring that notification bell.
I'm not doing this. I've just realised I don't have to.
Wow, Gemma, that's quite a statement there, isn't it? How do we feel about advertising in this way for surrogates, whether in a commercial environment, which we fully take on board and fully understand, and there is no reason why a surrogate shouldn't be compensated for what she's physically doing, which is an incredible thing. But is this the right way to be going about advertising for surrogates?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and it's probably going to do exactly what whatever organisation this advert was put out by, it's probably going to do exactly what they wanted it to do, which is grab attention, right? And, you know, a light-hearted, quick, fun way of kind of getting out there that in a commercially in a commercial surrogacy environment, that's one of the things that will become a motivator for some women becoming a surrogate. It's obviously going to generate some criticism from factors that, you know, from those who don't think that surrogates should be compensated, or that there should be more restrictions on level of compensation that surrogates receive. But I think I've seen quite a lot of adverts like this probably only in the last few years, where particularly in US, where surrogacy obviously is a compensated model there, but the surrogate compensation has increased massively over the last few years. That used to be a more sort of industry standard ballpark figure of around $50,000, $60,000, but in recent years that has crept up and up and up and up. And I think there are a lot of agencies out there who are being quite bold with their advertising, focusing on the level of compensation they offer, because that's the market that a lot of these agencies are in. There's going to be some agencies that don't agree with that way of doing things and will push in their messaging other motivations for becoming a surrogate, you know, focusing more on the expertise of the agency, the quality of support that surrogates would receive if they were to join their agency. Personally, I think that's a stronger message for a lot of women that will resonate with. But there's always going to be this element of people who will who hearing these huge sums of money will resonate with them, and will be that thing that's the first motivator for them to get in touch with that agency.
And we all know money talks, doesn't it? And just you can imagine that woman sitting, who's autonomous about who she is and what she is and what she wants to do with her body, and she's sitting in a $30,000 a year job, and then she's being offered this and thinking, wow, why would I not even consider that if I'm eligible and this is reasonable and this is practicable and it's legal? Then, you know, why would I not consider that? I think as women being targeted in this way, to really look at the bigger picture is a massive thing. With my clinical head on, pregnancy is not easy. It's not an easy option to think about for the next 9 to 12 months of your life, thinking about fertility treatment and then a pregnancy. It's a tough ordeal. It's not for everyone. And, you know, the compensation that's being offered is an enticement, but to really be considerate and think about the whole picture and what's going on with all of that must be taken into consideration. And I think the way that this advertising is coming across is saying, wow, look at this. You don't need to sit at home and be doing your 9 to 5, 30 grand a year job when you can do this quite easily, sit at home, just be pregnant. It's, you know, what's not easy about that? Wow, it's just like just a completely different way of advertising and, you know, enticing people to spark. As you said, Gemma, this is a clever way of saying, wow, look, in how long was the video? 6-7 seconds, and suddenly they've got people interested, saying, wow, this could really change my life. You know, this quadruples my salary.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that this is backed up when people actually do get in touch with the organisation with, look, you know, yes, you could. I mean, you know, we do see surrogates, particularly in the US, being compensated up to those kind of figures, $120,000. But I would hope that the organisation that is onboarding and screening and preparing and supporting those surrogates make sure that they're conveying an equally strong message about the support and the other motivations for becoming a surrogate as well, and understanding that the money itself, it's going to be really hard to become a surrogate if the only motivation you have is the financial element. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. For some people, that is enough of a motivator, and good on those people. That's, you know, their prerogative. But I think it's important that the education is available for them to understand the risks, the timelines, what is actually involved, so that they're making it an informed decision, even if the primary motivator for them is the financial compensation.
Yeah, I fully agree. And we have to remember this is very clever advertising, and they probably will have an influx of inquiries looking into this. But we know all too well that many of those inquiries will never be eligible for whatever those reasons are. That, you know, and we hope that there's still within the types of organisations that are advertising this way, that they do have that scrupulous screening process and eligibility criteria set out in order to ensure that the women that are being put forward and are going to be compensated at this level, that they are eligible and safe and healthy, all of those requirements that we need in order to have that safe pregnancy for the intended parents in the future. So yeah, so we're saying that advertising is very clever, and it's got to spark an interest, and that's the whole point of what this organisation is doing. But let's hope that it's supported and backed up in the correct way. That's what we're saying, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Debbie and I have just been discussing this advert that was from a US agency. It's not something that we'd be able to put out here in the UK. You've heard our thoughts on this. It'd be great to hear yours. Please leave comments below. As always, we ask that you keep those comments kind and be mindful that anybody viewing this channel could be going through a journey that is particularly sensitive. So let's keep things nice. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.